Okay, hello. Yeah, I started a few minutes ago. I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley, physical therapist, life and health coach. And I'm also a cook. I wouldn't call me a chef because I don't have any formal training other than watching a lot of courses online and doing that kind of stuff. But anyway, I've cooked a lot. I love to cook. I've been cooking since I was a little girl. My family, there were 5 children, 4 brothers. And so I love to get in the kitchen and cook, and I started really experimenting when I got to college because, you know, my mama cooked traditional food, which was cube steak, rice and gravy, pork chops, cabbage, slaw, you know, stew beef, meatballs and gravy, spaghetti, you know, all those things. Those are the kinds of things that we had at my house growing up, and they were delicious. But now I know a lot of that, a lot of the breads, the biscuits, the cakes, the pies, we had pineapple pudding after meals, a lot of those were not healthy. So I'm on a quest to help people get healthy. So I appreciate you joining me. I'm not sure who's jumping on, but I see a few folks. But I'm going to talk tonight about chronic pain, but I wanted to show you what I'm cooking first. So back here, well actually right here on this burner, I've got a couple of pieces of salmon. I get it from Wild Alaskan Salmon. I'm going to put the link below so you can get access to them. It's a little expensive, but it's so delicious. I've never had a piece that wasn't great. And so what I've done is I put this salmon in the pan, and I'm going to broil it in a minute. So I've just salted and peppered it. I put this lid on the top to act as a, kind of make an oven to keep the heat in. But what I've done, I turned my broiler on, and I'm going to broil this salmon. So stay with me. And then I'm going to make a honey ginger lime glaze to go over it while it's cooking in the oven. I'm going to make this glaze. So I've got this burner on with some butter, and then so yeah, so let me grab my hot pad here, and I'm just gonna take the lid off, and I'm just gonna stick this in the oven because it's already on broil. I'm gonna turn my timer on for just about 2 minutes because I've cooked it about 4 minutes in the pan, so I don't want it to get too done. I really don't like my salmon too done because it makes it dry, and that may actually be a little much. I think I'll just do a minute because really all I'm wanting it to do is brown on the top. But let me tell you what this little thing is. Okay, so you may have seen it in my picture, so here you go. I've got this little tool here, and you know, this is ginger. This is what ginger root looks like. When you find it at the store, you buy it like this, you buy whatever amount you need, and then you cut off a little limb or whatever piece of it. So I cut off this little piece and I peeled it. You want to make sure you peel it, and then I'm going to use this little tool. I bought this at Kroger. You see what it looks like? You'll have to look at it. It's a garlic press. But I'm going to use it to press this ginger. And so what happens when I press it, you just rock back and forth. You get, oh here it is. This is what you get. It looks like that. And so I put it in here, and I'm just going to scrape it out. So it's actually not, you know, it's not going to be, yeah, it's like if you were to grate it. Now, it's not the easiest thing to get out, but you can do it. And the last was easier than this, so I'm not sure why. But anyway, so I've got like about a teaspoon of ginger here, and I've melted this butter. You see, I usually have my camera a little bit closer. But before I do that, I want to take, there you go, there's my salmon. It should be ready to come out of the oven. And you see I'm doing it in this iron skillet so I can do it in the oven. I'm going to turn that burner off. And I'm going to keep it covered while I'm preparing this, this glaze. All right, so here we go. I've got this. Turn that off. Excellent. Okay, so So I've got this butter. I'm gonna kind of let it brown just a little bit, and I'm gonna dump this ginger over in there. And here's what else I'm gonna put in it, some honey. Just a little bit, not a lot, but just enough to give it a ginger flavor, a little bit of a sweet flavor. So probably, I don't know, maybe 2 teaspoons. And I may add a little bit more butter. I know you can't see this really well. I usually have this set up a little bit better so you can see it so that my back is not to you. But anyway, this is going to be so good. Okay, so let me squirt this honey in here. As you see, I don't measure a lot. So there's a teaspoon, or maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, and there's one. All right. So here we go. I'm going to cook it right here in front of you. So here we go. You see it's bubbling. It's got this ginger. Oh my gosh, and it smells delicious. Now, I'm going to move it right here to this cutting board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lime and I'm going to squirt it in there. Just the juice of 1 lime. So I'm squirting it into this glaze, and oh my gosh, this is going to be so good over this salmon. And I'm going to let it get back over here and just heat up a little bit. And so you see how I use this little tricky tool, and I like it because I had another little grater thing, but it's a real pain to grate this ginger. So stay tuned now. I'm about to talk to you about chronic pain, so don't leave me. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to bring this over here and show you how beautiful this is. I guess I'll put it up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my spatula. So I have made up a salad here. You see this? And it's just some fresh greens. I love that. There's some arugula. There's some red lettuce. There's, you know, several different things. I'm going to spoon out, or splatter out, spatula out, whatever you want to call it, a piece of salmon. And then I'm going to take this delicious glaze. So I had salted and peppered that salmon. And I'm going to pour it over, just like that, okay? So I've got 2 pieces. So I'm going to pour half over one. So you're not getting a full teaspoon of honey if you're all concerned about how many carbs you get. But remember, those are healthy carbs. It is sugar. It does raise your insulin, but it's not high fructose corn syrup. It's not maltodextrin. It's not sucralose. It's not any of those toxic kind of things. Hey Candace. Hey Lisa. Thank y'all for joining me. Okay, hit the love button if you think you could enjoy that tonight. Now let me tell you what I've got here. I've got a homemade salad dressing. We call it Luana's vinaigrette. It's awesome. I've had people, you get this recipe when you join my program, but if you give me your email, I'll give it to you tonight. And people say that, some people say it's worth the price of the program just to get this, but I'll give you the email. I just made it up. It's so quick and easy to make. Now I love this little handy dandy little salad dressing mixer is what I call it. You can make blue cheese. I just like it, and I'm just gonna pour that over my salad. And then you know what I always do? I'm always going to take a bite. All right, so let me see. Oh my gosh, that salmon looks so delicious. I really love that ginger and lime and honey together. Really, really good. And then this, I've got some gorgonzola cheese on there and some pecans that I actually toasted in the oven. I've showed you how to do that. In my program, I give all these recipes. So anybody that joins, you get access to that. Plus, about 35, I think, or 40 more recipes of our clients that have added to it. So, so good. I could chow down to that right now. But the next important thing I want to talk to you about is chronic pain. And the reason I want to talk to you about that is because so many people suffer from that unnecessarily. And you're like, well, how do you know it's unnecessary? Well, I'm going to tell you the three things to begin to look at when you suffer from chronic pain. My mother had her back collapsed about 5 years, really about 4 years before she died. No, it was 5 years. And she lost 6 inches. So we were always the same height. And she lost 6 inches in her back. It collapsed and twisted. Now, when you looked at her, you wouldn't know that that had happened. But the pain that she suffered from that, I totally believe, is what caused her progression into Alzheimer's so rapidly. And she died right over there on a bed at, I think she was 86 years old from Alzheimer's. Basically weighed 60 pounds, skin and bones. And so I'm on a quest to teach you about how to prevent Alzheimer's. And so last night I talked about stress and how to get rid of stress, and tonight I'm talking about chronic pain, because pain is one of the #1 factors that causes stress, people being in chronic pain. And if you're in chronic pain, I'm so sorry for you. I really am, because you know, it's just very unfortunate. Okay, so here we go. So I want to help you get your life back, okay? Now, I'm not saying I'm offering the cure for all chronic pain, but I'm just going to give you some tips of things to look at. So when you develop a pain, say a pain in your wrist, a pain in your hands, a pain in your hip, the first thing you want to look at is the structure. And as a physical therapist for 40-something years, I've seen so many people come in thinking it was one thing when really it was a structural issue, okay? So you want to look at the structure, and that includes the muscles and the tissues. So maybe it's something. One of the things I used to do, I used to go to industry and I would watch people do their jobs, and I would make ergonomic changes in their whatever it was they were doing. I know there was a tool and die place over in Swainsboro, and all day these women would stand there and just stamp these metal pieces, and they would develop this carpal tunnel. And so we figured out a way to help them to go from one hand to the other, and then actually how to make a foot press so they could do it with their feet. So you want to look at an area, maybe typing or even on the phone, or you know, just think about structurally, or even in your home if you're not working, if you're sitting in a slump position. I know I really have to watch. I actually have put 2 new pillows at my back on my couch because I do a lot of work on my computer at my couch, and I want to be in an upright, good position. So, and then I set a timer so that I get out and walk around and do my grounding regularly through the day. Okay, so you want to look for tissues or structures that are not in alignment, or where you maybe do repetitive things. And I know I see some of you on here. I see Dawn, she's a dental assistant, and you know, some of the things that dentists do, or even that hygienists or assistants do, they have to really watch to keep things moving. So you want to look for that. And even sleeping. I've had people come in and they sleep on their arm, and so, or they sleep on their side. So I have to teach them to tape a golf ball to their arm, so when they roll over on that side, it'll wake them up, and then they'll get used to maybe sleeping on the other side, or not doing that. Okay, so that's the first place you want to look if you've got a chronic pain. So maybe it's between your shoulders, maybe, you know, so here's a really quick test I want to show you. That is a way to let you know if your shoulders are rounding. So if your shoulders are rounding, that's not good. You'll eventually develop some pain here. So way to notice if your shoulders are rounded is when you hang your arms down by your side. If your thumbs face forward, then your shoulders aren't rounded. But if your shoulders are rounded, your thumbs will point to each other. They will point at each other. So that's just something you might want to notice. And if your shoulders are rounded, then you need to work on some postural things, some breathing, and some other things. But I don't have time to go into all that now, but that is an important thing to notice, okay? All right, so the second thing you want to look at is your gut. And if you have leaky gut or candida, this can turn on the switch really to key in on these areas where the structural change is. So one of the things I teach in my program is how to heal your gut. And that's the first thing we do. In the first 30 days, we really concentrate on getting all of the things out of your body, the toxins, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, so that your gut is healed. And I've got a webinar. If you're interested, I can send it to you. It's a 45-minute webinar that explains what leaky gut is and what causes it and why we're not getting the nutrients that we need from the foods that we do eat. Okay, so this is definitely a place where chronic pain can start. First of all, because you're not absorbing good nutrients that fight off pain, but also because when you have this open place, it's like it's turning on a switch, okay? And the third thing is toxins, especially lead and especially mold. And there's actually a little tool, a meter that you can order on Amazon to test the lead in your body. But you know, so many people, when they've remodeled a house, they'll notice that there's a lot of lead and they get lead poisoning. So you want to be careful about this, and it goes into your nervous system, and that can cause the chronic pain. So just be careful about that. And the other thing is it can be manifested as neuropathy. So if you're noticing you're grabbing your arm, now it can be coming from something structural in your neck, but it can also be coming from lead poison in your body. So that's something you want to check into. Okay, and then the other thing is mold. Mold can cause a tremendous inflammatory response. So you just want to be careful about that. Okay, so how do you treat chronic pain? Here's one of the ways. CBD oil. Now everybody's hearing about that, and you know there's two kinds. There's one that's made from marijuana, one that's made from hemp. I'm talking about the kind that's made from hemp, and what it does is it will go to your pain receptors and it will shut down those pain receptors. So I want you to know that is a good option to rub it on. It's not harmful, it's not addictive. It is something that can really be helpful, okay? The other thing is light therapy. And I know, let me see, there may be, I've got a little notification. I just want to make sure I'm turning that off. Yeah, okay. Light therapy. I know Tara at Appearances at Lines has a new machine that you can get in, and I know one of my friends is getting in there, and she's saying that it's really, really helping her. So if you want to go and research that, you can go to nasa.org and research that, light therapy and what it does. And then, of course, the hyperbaric O2 therapy is a really, a lot of good research out there about how that will help with chronic pain. And then, of course, massage. Myofascial release using myofascial balls. That's one of the things I'm going to be teaching to my clients in these next exercise classes that are going to be coming up in this challenge. So they won't be free, they're going to be in the challenge. So if you haven't joined the challenge, that's another good reason to join. Okay, so here we go. I want to review. I just want to go into a little bit more detail about the leaky gut. So what you're doing when you eat healthy and you begin to get rid of the toxins is you're healing your gut. And you can do that. The lining of the gut is where all the information is passed. Think about it. You're putting food in there that's going to give fuel, not just to your body, but guess where else? To your brain. And your brain needs good fuel. And fat is one of the best fuels. Good fats is one of the best fuels to fuel your brain. And I hear so many people say, I just got brain fog, I can't remember anything, all those things. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. But if you don't fuel your body eating leafy greens, vitamin B, C, D, E, F, G. G is grounding. That's walking outside, vitamin G. You're like, what is vitamin G? It's walking outside, it's grounding. Okay, so some of the things that we teach you need to stay away from if you're trying to heal your gut are grains, and that's whole wheat grain too. Okay, grains. The grains that we have are genetically modified, and they're just not going to actually we don't have the digestive enzymes. We don't have the proper digestion to digest them. And that's why they cause problems to our gut. Some, dairy, I can handle dairy, but a lot of people can't. Sugar, though, in any form, and when I say sugar, I don't mean that little white crystalline stuff. I mean all kinds of sugar, high fructose corn syrup. Google that, how that's made. We don't want that, okay? Goat milk, goat cheese is probably, if you have trouble with dairy, maybe your better choice. Okay, and then the other thing, you want to get these toxins out. You want to get the lead out. You want to get toxic foods out. I picked up something the other day and just read the back of it, and the first ingredient, I think it was ranch salad dressing, was maltodextrin. There's so many toxins. Just eat good, pure food, meat and good vegetables, and organic if at all possible. You're going to get much more nutrition from those things. And then, mold. If you want to know about mold, there's a website, survivingmold.com. Go there and do your research. Maybe you've remodeled a house and all of a sudden you're having trouble, or maybe it could be just the carpet that you have, or maybe something spilled, or whatever. You could have some mold. I know we had a lot of mold up under our flooring, and we had to take it up because the crawl space had not been excavated properly. So there's all kinds of things like that to know that could be causing your chronic pain. So you know what? Your body can heal itself if you get rid of the things that are causing the problems. So that's what I teach in my program. That's what I want to help you with. I want you to change your relationship with food. I want you to see food as fuel. When you look at food, like when I look at this lime, I'm like, that's good food. When I look at this ginger, I'm like, that's good food. When I look at this dish, I mean, this is fuel. This is fuel. This is what I cooked tonight. Oh my gosh, I can't hardly stay away from eating it. But it's going to be so delicious, and it's going to give my body nourishment. When this food hits my gut, guess what happens? Those digestive enzymes go to work, breaking it down, and my body's going to say, that is really good. And at 64, I want to perform. So if you haven't messaged me, then message me and let's talk, because you want to get the most out of this gift. Our body is a gift. God gave it to us. And I'm just going to tell you, I told my daughter today, I went in Walmart to do some grocery shopping, and I really get anxious in there because I see so many unhealthy people, young people, not old people. And I just want to go up to them and say, come home with me and let me help you. Because you don't, if you're shooting an arrow, most people right now are shooting an arrow and they don't even really realize where it's going to land. It's not going to land in a good place. But if you could just shift that bow a little bit, your arrow, you would land in a totally different place. And in 90 days, in 6 months, in a year, you could move from this group of unhealthy people to a group of healthy people. And that's what I want to help you do. Please share this video. Hit the love button. Just if you're watching the replay, hit pound replay. That just gets this information out, because I want people to know. Okay, so tomorrow night, I knew what I was talking about, but I can't remember. But it'll be good. And so come back tomorrow night. I'm going to talk more about health. I'm going to talk more about nutrition and what are some good options. So, and I'm going to cook again. It may be later tomorrow night because I have my Bible study. But thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you soon.